Take a breath. Now imagine that same breath, but with 70% more oxygen in it. Enough to be dangerous, enough to hurt you slowly just from breathing it. That's the air a dragonfly the size of a hawk used to fly through. Picture the swamp, black water, steam rising, trees taller than anything alive today, packed so tight the sky barely gets through. Something lands above you, wings wider than your arm, wider than a seagull's. It doesn't fly off, it just watches you. Welcome to Earth, 300 million years ago, and that dragonfly isn't even the scariest thing here. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the air itself built monsters, and why you're still living off what they left behind. Here's what people get wrong. The bugs didn't decide to get big. The air changed first. Everything else just had to survive it. Today, 21% oxygen. Back then, 35. Almost 70% more than you've ever breathed in your life. And more oxygen isn't a gift. It's toxic at that level. It damages cells. Imagine an entire atmosphere sitting at a level that would hurt you today. Where did it come from? The plants. Massive forests. First time Earth had ever seen anything like them. Trees, everywhere, all pumping out oxygen at once. Faster than the planet could absorb it. Faster than anything had adapted for. Nothing on Earth had ever had to deal with this before. Not once in billions of years. So how did anything survive? Some scientists think the answer is simple. Get bigger, more volume, better odds of managing the flood. Insect larvae had it worst. They breathed through their skin. No control over intake, no lungs, no filter, just raw exposure to a toxic atmosphere every second of their lives. Bigger bodies diluted the danger. More mass to spread the damage across. The world didn't let insects get huge. It forced them to. Or they didn't survive at all. This wasn't evolution being generous, it was survival under pressure, with no other option on the table. And it didn't happen slowly either. Geologically speaking, this shift happened fast. A blink of an eye compared to the usual pace of evolution. The planet essentially forced an entire arms race in a heartbeat. Let's meet the cast. One by one. First, the dragonfly, Meganeura. Wingspan up to 75 centimeters. Bigger than a dinner plate. Bigger than most hawks. It didn't sip nectar, it hunted, patrolling the open air above the swamp, snatching prey out of the sky. Spiked legs built like a trap. No feathers, no beak, just wings and compound eyes the size of your thumbnail. Imagine looking up and seeing that shadow pass overhead. Its wings weren't like a modern dragonfly's either. Thicker veins. Built for a heavier body, moving through denser air. Every part of it was scaled up to match the world it lived in. Next, the millipede, Arthropleura. 2 meters long, longer than you are tall. The biggest land arthropod that has ever existed. Ever. Period. And here's the twist. It wasn't a predator. It ate leaves. Armor-plated, head to tail. A 2-meter tank. Built just to graze. Picture stepping over what you thought was a log, and it starts to move. Fossilized tracks of this thing have been found a meter wide. An actual footprint, pressed into stone from something that never even hunted you. Next, the scorpion. Pulmonoscorpius. 1/2 meter long, roughly the size of a house cat. Hunting alone. Stalking the swamp floor in the dark, under the roots. Venom strong enough to stop a mammal's heart. If mammals had existed yet to test it on, you wouldn't see it coming. You'd just feel it. It hunted mostly by vibration, sensing movement through the ground itself. Distance meant nothing to it. Next, a flyer with no living relatives anywhere on Earth. Mazothairos, 6 wings, 2 extra tiny ones near its head. Nothing alive today has that. Not a dragonfly. Not anything you'd recognize. Its own experiment. When this era ended, the whole experiment vanished with it. No descendants, no relatives, just gone. Whatever it was building toward, we'll never actually see it finished. An entire evolutionary branch cut off with nothing left to tell us where it was headed. Last, the amphibians, built like crocodiles. Species like Ariops, nearly 6 meters long, rows of teeth, hunting anything that got too close to shore. No reptiles yet. No mammals yet. These were the apex predators of the entire world. Nothing warm-blooded had even evolved. This was still the age of cold blood, and it ran the whole show. These amphibians dominated both land and water. Ambush hunters built low and wide, patient as the swamp itself. Look around this swamp. Really look. The sky has a predator in it. The ground has two. The water's edge has something enormous. Everything got turned up all at once. And you're standing right in the middle of it, at exactly the wrong size to feel safe. There was no version of this swamp where you were at the top of the food chain, not even close. Every single creature here, all at once, answering to the exact same overloaded atmosphere. So that's the theory. More oxygen, bigger bugs. Simple story. Easy to believe. For decades, that was just treated as fact. Then scientists actually went looking for the mechanism behind it. Insects breathe through tiny internal tubes, called tracheae. The old theory said giants must have had way more of them, so researchers checked. They didn't find it. Barely more tubes than their small modern relatives have today. So maybe oxygen isn't the whole story after all. Here's the other piece. No birds yet. Nothing had evolved to hunt insects from the sky. No predator pressure to stay small and fast. Just open air, and whatever a body could get away with. Think about that. An entire ecological niche, wide open, unguarded, for millions of years. Nature abhors an empty space like that. Something was always going to fill it. One clean explanation. Turns out it's maybe half the story at best. Sometimes there isn't just one cause. There's a whole swamp full of them, stacked on top of each other. And scientists are still untangling which ones mattered most, even today. This is the part that should genuinely bother you a little. We love clean explanations. One cause, one effect, easy to remember. But the real world is rarely that tidy. Even 300 million years later, we're still catching up. New evidence keeps rewriting what we thought we knew. And it probably will again. Here's the part that touches you directly. Right now, all those giant plants died, fell, piled up, stagnant water, oxygen-starved, no way to properly rot. So they didn't. They just sat there, compressed, for millions and millions of years. Layer after layer, pressure building, for longer than you can really picture. That's coal. The stuff that powered the Industrial Revolution. The stuff still burned in power plants today, all over the world. It's underground right now, because a swamp was too waterlogged to let it rot properly. 300 million years ago. Every time you hear the words fossil fuel, this is the fossil. Your lights, your flights, entire economies running the way they do. All of it traces back to an era with dangerous air and monster bugs. Nobody planned that connection. It's just what happens after 300 million years underground. Think about that the next time you flip a switch. Somewhere below your feet, there's a graveyard of giant plants that never finished rotting. And you're burning it. The swamp that grew the monsters is the same swamp powering your life today. This entire geological period even gets its name from this. Carboniferous, literally carbon-bearing, named after the coal seams themselves. The bugs came second. The fuel came first, historically speaking, and how we even discovered this era existed. Miners were the ones pulling ancient plant matter out of the ground centuries before anyone understood giant dragonflies had once flown above it. The climate shifted. Swamps dried out. Oxygen dropped. Back toward what we breathe today. The giants ran out of whatever made them giants. The hawk-sized dragonfly, the 2-meter millipede, the house cat scorpion. Gone. All of it. Erased over a few million years, but the air that built them never disappeared. It's underground, right now, as coal, as fuel, still running the world. So next time you turn on a light, or board a plane, remember what's actually powering it. A swamp. 300 million years old, full of monsters the size of nightmares. That never fully went away. Not really. They're still down there, waiting to be burned. The Carboniferous never truly ended. It just moved underground and started running everything you touch.